Welcome to the Pretty Confident Podcast, where we embrace authenticity, own our worth, and build unshakable confidence. I'm your host, Sierra Renee, so let's dive in. What's up, you guys, and welcome back to another week of the Pretty Confident Podcast. I'm your host, Sierra Renee. Thank you so much for being here. If you are new here, thank you so much for giving me your time to show you what this podcast is all about. And if you are a returning listener or an OG, thank you so much for coming back and sticking thin and through thick and thin with your girl. Okay. Thank you so much. I'm trying to do as good as I can, as much as I can as possible before my birth, because for those of you that know, I am pregnant, and as of the time that I am recording this, at the time I'm recording this, I am 36 weeks pregnant. You guys, that is so crazy to say. Like, I literally have 4 weeks or less to give birth, and my baby girl will be here. Like, it's all up to her. When do you want to come, baby girl? Mama is ready whenever you are. But if you can stay until 40 weeks, that would be just, perfect, splendid for me. I don't know. I keep saying I'll be ready when, I'm 40 weeks. But honestly, I don't think I'll ever be ready, because even at 40 weeks, I'm still going to have the nervousness and everything that I have now. So yeah, but honestly, thank you so much for being here. New listeners, OGs and returning listeners, thank you so much for being here and, continuing to support me, even though I don't promote this podcast as much as I should. You guys, let's go ahead and get into, let's go ahead and just chit chat. Okay, let's go ahead and chit chat. How are you guys feeling? I don't know when this episode is coming out. I think we should be either towards the end of May or beginning of June. I'm trying to podcast so far in advance because I don't know when I'll be coming back to the podcast after I give birth. Because I doubt it'll be like after I give birth. Okay, the next, the weekend or the very next day I'm ready to record. So the last time I recorded, I did like 4 episodes in one day. I was super proud of myself, like just straight line, just 4 episodes, boom, 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 boom. And I was so proud of myself. And now I'm just like, okay, it's been a couple weeks since I recorded. So let me go ahead and record hopefully another 4 episodes. It completely depends on how I feel and how everything goes. Just because, I don't know, like I feel like I'm in a slumpy mood right now, and I feel like I'm not overwhelmed. I'm maybe overstimulated because I just dropped my dogs off at daycare, and not daycare, but the groomers. Like all of my thoughts are not straight yet, but I just dropped the dogs off at the groomers. Okay. And I don't know what it is, but people just irritate me. Like they don't wait in a line. They see you waiting there. They just walk right in. You try to I don't know. It was just a whole, but it was just a whole lot. And then I got the dogs whining and crying and barking, and because they see other dogs, I'm just like, I am overstimulated. We cannot be doing this. So I'm like, you know what, Sierra, just take a deep breath, and just relax. Ignore everything. A line is a line. You're still going to get inside, and it is what it is. Just drive off in peace and try to be as peaceful as you can be, because Lord knows my attitude can get real nasty. And I feel like I was wearing my expressions on my face, which I don't like to do, but I was just so irritated, so annoyed, that literally everything was getting on my nerves. She said, when do you want the dogs done? I don't give a damn when them damn dogs are done, okay? Just text me whenever they done. I know you're going to have them done before midnight, okay? Just have them done, text me, I'll come get them. Shit, keep them a little longer if you can. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot, and it's only like 9 o'clock in the morning. So I think that's, the other thing, waking up so early and dealing with them and everybody else's BS so early in the morning, and not fully waking up yet. So I'm trying to take my electrolytes drink. It's premium hydration. The TikTok girlies are saying water is not enough when it comes to your hydrating for your milk supply and everything. And if you know that I'm trying to breastfeed. I want to breastfeed. That's one of my goals for this pregnancy. because I don't think anybody in my family has breastfed. Everybody has always, kind of told me when I did express my thoughts on breastfeeding and, my wants to breastfeed is, oh, well, you're always going to be the supplier. You're always going to be a supplier. If she goes and stays with somebody, people will always try to deter you from what you want to do and what you want to try before you even try it. So block out, I don't want to say the haters because they're not haters, but block out any unnecessary noise until you decide that this is something that you no longer want to do. I have been hell-bent on wanting to breastfeed even before, finding out that I was pregnant. There was not one moment in this pregnancy journey that I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't breastfeed. No, I want to do that for my child because I feel like there will be a bond that can be created from that. And then my body will supply her exactly what she needs when she needs it. So at night, my body will create melatonin in my breast milk that will help her go to sleep and recognize that it's nighttime. And then there was something else like in the morning that your body creates. I don't want to, misinform anybody, so look it up. But there's something in the morning that your body creates if you pump throughout the day or breastfeed throughout the day that gives your child, gives the baby more energy, lets them know that it's morning time, daytime. So I'm just so hell-bent on the natural way of things. And, just trying to figure out this stuff is cool. If the body can do it, why not let my body do it? This is what my body was created for. So yeah, but anyway, I'm gonna try to, get in a better mood today. But yeah, do y'all see my hair? Yeah, my hair is super cute. These are braids from 2 weekends ago. I had my, I had my baby shower, the 28th of March. So yeah, we're right around the corner from that date. So this is coming out super, super late. But I'm just recording in advance. But I really did love this hairstyle. This hairstyle is so cute. I told her that I may need to come back to her because I just got obviously right here, if you're watching, I just got the top braided and then I got the back just two cornrows because this is a half wig. And I got this half wig, the very first time. This was my very first half wig that wasn't lace or anything. And I was like, how do you wear this? And I was wearing it all the way up here and it was just pulling and giving me a headache and putting stress on my edges and whatnot. So I was like, oh, I gotta get this. Yeah. So my other wigs are half headband wigs. And then this is my only half wig. But this can come in handy really quick because I can just get this top part braided, put the half wig on, we good to go. It looked like this is brand new. Okay, just refresh the curls whenever it needs to be refreshed and walk out the door. But yeah, so I don't know, you guys, this is going to be my last little snippet before we get into this episode, but I am considering going back to locks. You guys, I have not wanted to touch my hair this whole pregnancy. I've just been tired. I don't want to do the 20 million steps that I used to do before I was pregnant. Clarifying shampoo, moisturizing shampoo, conditioner, deep condition, hair mask, protein treatment if it's that time of the month, then leave-in conditioner, do a leave out or not a leave out, but a wash and go or, a twist and all of that is so tiring to me. Make sure it's moisturized all of that has been just so tiring to me during this journey that I think I'm going to go back to locks. I don't know. Because locks is just lower maintenance and I know that I can comb them out in the next 4 or 5 years. So I don't know. I think I'm just I'm thinking about it. I am truly thinking about getting locks. Okay. Either right before birth or right after, not right after I give birth, but after I give birth. So while we're on the topic of birth and all of those things, I just wanted to share what I'm doing to prepare for birth. If there's any new mommies out there, if there's any, baby dads or husbands or boyfriends that's about to be, a dad, and actively with their partner and things like that. I just want to give advice and, do with the advice what you will, do with the information with what you will, and research what is best for you. Consult your,
OBGYN, your doctor, whatever, your nurse practitioner, whoever you are seeing, because all of this is going to depend on you as an individual person and your health. I can genuinely, honestly, and thankfully say that my pregnancy has been nothing short of amazing and seamless. I tell people that I have honestly been spoiled with this pregnancy, because I feel like not everybody has a seamless and, uncomplicated pregnancy, because of all the horror stories that I've heard, that people feel like they have to dump on you when they find out that you're pregnant. Like, why is that something that you want to dump on a pregnant mother, like a pregnant woman, that whether this is their first child or not, why is that something that you want to dump on them? I find that so weird. But I just wanted to, kind of make an episode about this, just in case there's other people out there that's experiencing a good pregnancy and they don't feel like they have anybody that they can share it with, or somebody that they can connect to about it, because everybody just has all these horror stories that they just don't want to, kind of indulge in what's been going on gratefully for them. And I don't care. Like, my husband was like, you probably need to stop telling people that you've been having a great pregnancy. I was like, why? He was like, because not everybody's going to like that. Not everybody's going to, like, look at you the same, or this and that. I don't care. I don't care. How can you be mad at me for having a good pregnancy experience, even though yours was bad, even though yours was, complicated? I'm not saying that you can't share your experience with other people. But when it comes to a point that you're envious and jealous that somebody is having a better experience than you did, we're all different people. We're all different human beings. We all live our life differently. And so I have so many people telling me, oh, I gained over 100 pounds. And, oh, girl, you're going to want the epidural. Like, why is this something that women just feel like they have to just like pile on to pregnant people? And I don't care if you don't like that I have had a perfect pregnancy. I don't care that every time that you ask me how I'm doing, I said good, and you probably felt some type of way. I do not care. I feel like if I have had a great pregnancy, I should be able to cascade that, because there's going to be other people out there that have been having a good pregnancy or had a good pregnancy, and because they feel like other people just don't, like, everybody just dwells on the negative, that nobody wants to hear the positive, or all they hear is the negative, and so they don't want to elaborate on the positive. Like, we need more positive light about pregnancy out there, because I feel like on the internet, especially anytime I get into TikTok, everybody is always talking about, oh, well, pregnancy this, I'm so tired of being pregnant, this pregnancy has been horrible, I wouldn't do this again, and this, that, and then the comments surrounding it is just like, okay, don't get pregnant again. Please don't, because I don't want to hear you go on for another 9-10 months about this terrible pregnancy that could have been avoided. So I'm going to cascade my experience out there, just in case somebody else wants to resonate with it, or if somebody else resonates with it, or if you are not pregnant and you're listening to this, I want you to know that it is possible to have a good pregnancy. Alongside the people that only show their negative, experiences, I feel like that is also scaring people that are not pregnant into either not getting pregnant or already having misconceptions about their pregnancy journey. It honestly comes down to your partner, who you chose, okay? It comes down to your lifestyle. Are you healthy? How active are you? All of the things. And then it also comes down to, your mental fortitude and your emotional fortitude, because honestly, pregnancy can take you for a ride, but if you are mentally stable, if you are emotionally, intelligent, you will be able to fight back whatever pregnancy throws at you with, your hormones fluctuating and all of the things like that. Your partner matters in this situation. It is not just you that is pregnant. Both of you are. So if your partner is not involved, you can feel like you're the only person on this world going through this alone. Okay. And if your partner is involved, it can make a world of difference. So I tell my husband all the time, like, I'm so glad that, I decided to have kids with you. Like, I feel like this right here like could have been worse if I wasn't with you, or if I was with somebody else, or if you weren't here, this, that, and the third. But honestly, I've just had such a great pregnancy. He does whatever I need him to do, and he's doing his own research, and whatever he finds, he's like, okay, I need to change this about what I'm doing, switch this up, not leaving you at night, this, that, and the third. So it's just like, who is your partner and who did you decide to have this child with? Because that is what really matters. And their health, like the man's health definitely contributes to how you feel throughout your pregnancy, because it is their sperm cell that is impregnating your egg. And so definitely their DNA and their blood and all of the things that they're composed of is being grown inside of you along with, the baby. So all of that is important. And so if those things are not being taken into concern, you may have a troublesome pregnancy. Okay. But yeah, I just wanted to share some tips for some new moms, or if you're, becoming a mom, not again, but if you're a mom of multiple, perfectly fine. But definitely do your research and try some of these things during pregnancy, because I feel like it helps me feel some sense of calmness before birth. And I feel like just knowing that I'm preparing myself mentally, emotionally, and physically, okay, I feel like it's helping me, kind of calm down before the storm. I say the storm because it's going to be a rush of emotions, a rush of, all types of things going on. So I don't know how everything's going to play out. I just hope that my delivery is going to be as smooth as my birth, as my pregnancy, but one can only hope and wish. So I'm doing everything within my control to try to navigate how my delivery is going to go, even though I have never given birth before. But honestly, the best you can do is whatever is in your control. And then when you get down to it, trust the other people that are experts in this field to do their job. You do your job in what you can control. And yeah, just relax. So yeah, some of the things that I've been doing is exercising. I need to get back into this because me and my husband have not been walking around the neighborhood like we used to do. But I'm also kind of nervous to walk around the neighborhood because I know sometimes walking can induce labor because it opens up, like the hip rotators and all of that can kind of help the baby move down. But I feel like if you're not active and exercising before, this is definitely something that can help induce labor, and that's not something that I want to do, but I was active before. So we're going to get back to exercising and walking. Stretching. I think I've told you all this before. I try to stretch my pelvic floor and my hip rotators to make sure they open and they rotate nicely, because during birth, obviously, that is where I want her to come out. I don't want to do a C-section if I don't have to, if it's not medically needed. So stretching, breathing exercises. This is something that I need to look up a little bit more because honestly, all I see people doing is the breathe in, breathe out. So either that or they're making animalistic noises, and I just don't feel like that's going to be realistic for me to do in the hospital room. I just don't feel like that's me, so I may not do it. But like I said, do your own research. If you feel like this is going to work for you, do it. But the reason that they say make, animalistic noise is because you're going to be relaxing your jaw area. Because if you're clenching your bone, if you're clenching your teeth, if you're clenching your jaw area, then that means that you're clenching, your muscles and your pelvic area. So that way, when you're pushing and you're clenching, your muscles are contracting, but you're also trying to force the baby through, and that can contribute to tearing. So if you keep your mouth open or you keep your jawline relaxed while you pull, your muscles are relaxed, and while you push, your muscles are relaxed as you're pushing. And so your body is working all together instead of your muscles contracting and not trying to open for that baby's head. And so then your muscles are relaxed, your jaw's relaxed, and then the baby is being pushed out and not meeting any resistance as the muscles are relaxed down there. So that's something that can help out with. My hospital bag has been packed since I think 30, somewhere in the 30s to 33 range of weeks that I was pregnant. 30 to 33 weeks my bag was packed because I don't know when she's gonna come, and this is my first pregnancy. And with most pregnancies, you can notice a trend if you've had multiple kids, like how early you come or how late you come or anything like that. And so since I don't know when she'll come, I just want to be prepared at all times. So my hospital bag is packed. I'm going to be dropping, by the time this episode comes out, I'll already have a Pack My Hospital Bag With Me video out on my TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. So you can definitely go find me on there at It's Sierra Renee and follow me if you want to, follow me. And then postpartum care. Majority of folks, are thinking about the baby and not you while they're buying things like for the baby shower or just buying things to send you. So you need to take time out of, thinking about the nursery and thinking about everything that the baby needs, and take time to think about you and what you'll need after birth. So if that means meal prepping and freezing food and freezing meals and, just buying all of the things that you need to take care of down there in case you tear, things like that. You need to do your research and figure out what will be best for you, because not everybody's going to be thinking about you, or nobody's going to be thinking about you at all. And so everybody's going to be thinking about the baby. You're thinking about the baby. Dad's thinking about the baby. And when are you going to be thinking about yourself? And I am highly keen on still prioritizing yourself even if you have a baby, still prioritizing your relationship and your marriage even if you have a baby, because I feel like once you make that baby your priority, you start losing all sense of existence of everything else outside of what the baby has going on. So think about you, okay? Do research on postpartum care. I don't know if Frida will still have this whatever going on, this controversy around the brand going on, but I genuinely think if they have the best postpartum care stuff that you can find, buy it. Like, forget all the controversy. Like, I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, your health and your care is more important than what is happening in the media. So, there were just some controversy things on how they were trying to market and what they were putting on their boxes and products and whatnot. But I just feel like they are the only brand that I've seen with postpartum kits. And so that comes with disposable underwear, cooling pads, witch hazel pad thingies, like little tabs that you put on the pad, and then the witch hazel foam. Like, all of that contributes to taking care of your lady parts down there after you give birth and helps, nurse that back to health. So I'm just like, one, the controversy, okay, I understand. But two, they have a great postpartum kit at an affordable price. And so if you can get all of that instead of spending $1 million on buying all of those things separately, I'm going to take the product over the controversy. Like, I'm sorry, but I got to think about my health before I start to think about other people's opinion on me buying this because of the controversy or while the controversy is going on. I don't need anybody outside opinion to tell me what I do and don't need to buy just based off the social media standpoint. Okay? No. Protecting your peace. Okay. This is one thing that, I do need to do an episode on, but protecting your peace, one, during pregnancy, but two, finding out what you need to do to protect your pregnancy after birth is going to be elite for you. Okay. Like, that is going to, like, just thinking ahead about how you're going to protect you, yourself, your mental, all of that after you give birth will definitely set you up for success when you come home, because you're going to be so tired. I just know, I feel like I'm going to be so tired that I'm not going to want to think about, okay, what do I need to say to people, or what do I need to tell people not to do or to do, or all of these things. Now I'm thinking about, okay, my brain is on overload because I'm already home with the baby, and now I'm trying to figure out how to put certain boundaries in place to make sure my peace is protected and make sure nobody tries to overstep a boundary that they may not know is there. Just some advice on what I've done to prepare myself to protect my peace after birth is, if you've listened to my podcast before, creating a boundaries list, creating a visitation list, okay? Especially for after I give birth, because in the hospital, if I'm only going to be there for 24 to 48 hours, I do not need everybody, their grandma, my grandma, my aunties, their kids. I do not need everybody coming to the hospital. My baby has been inside my body for 9 months, just got out into this world. And so I don't need 20, 40 people trying to hold her, breathe over her, poke and pry at her while I'm trying to also rest, get to know her as well, breastfeed, learn how to latch, all of these things within the first 24, 48 hours of life. I really do not need all of that. So created a birth plan. Who's able to visit, who's not, like not who's not able to visit, but if your name is not on the list of people that's on the visitation list while I'm in the hospital, do not come. And my nursing staff will know, or they will know, because I'll be printing these things out and giving it to them. But if they are not on this list, do not allow them in my room. You cannot supersede the nurses when it comes to visitation. I feel like it's really, if the mom doesn't want, X amount of people there, the nurse's job is to uphold that request. When I sent my birthing plan to the lady that is going to be my doula, she did ask if I was going to put my grandparents on that list, but I told her, I am so sorry. I love them to death. I know you're super close with my grandma. You're one of her best friends. But the answer, honestly, is no, because I get overstimulated with a lot of people, and I just do not need that type of overstimulation my first 24 hours after labor. Because some people were already talking about, oh, well, I'll just wait in the waiting room. Why? Go home. Go home, because there will not be anything that you need to do or can do for me in the hospital, waiting in the waiting room while I'm giving birth or after I give birth. There's nothing you can do. Everything I need will be there. The nurses will be there for anything that I need, and that's all I need. I do not need people. And I don't know how I'll feel and how I'll look and how, like, my personality and emotions will be after giving birth. So just thinking about people wanting to come in right after that already gives me overstimulated vibes and stresses me out. So yeah, I told her no. But if I say yes to my grandma and grandpa, my grandmother doesn't know, like, I love her to death, but she just doesn't know boundaries, like the extent of some boundaries or where to stop with pushing certain boundaries. And so she always has my uncle kids, and I've already told my mama, they're not allowed around my child. Sorry, not sorry, but them and him, not allowed around my child. And so she always has them. So it's just like, you never know when she does not have them, because she always has them when you see or talk to her. So it's just like, if I tell her yes, then there's no telling, like, if they're at her house and they can't leave kids by themselves, that 20 people won't be in the room at once trying to poke and pry at my baby. That's a no-go for me. So no. And then also on that is my visitation plan. Okay. After I get home, what will visitation be like? And I created that list, and I'm going to send it out towards like the middle end of April. I know, this is coming out several months after this, but towards the middle or end of April, or depending on if I go into labor early, then right before, right after I give labor, that's going to be, the visitation list that's sent out. So no visitation within the first 2 weeks, unless I request your presence. I do not want people at my house. Max number of people that can be here at one time, because everybody is going to want to hold her, and passing her around to multiple people in one setting is going to overstimulate her. One set of visitors a day. Just because I say max number of people at one time and in between this time frame does not mean I want 30 million different people at this time to this time and this time to this time to be coming in my house. No, still overstimulation, not only for the baby, but for me as the mom. And then max amount of time that you can stay here. I know that everybody is going to want to come see the baby. So I know nobody is thinking about, oh, well, let me help clean. Let me do laundry. Let me do this. Let me do that. So guess what? Max time limits on how long you can stay, because you're coming here for the baby, not to help me or the dad or the household. So guess what? There's a time limit on how long you can stay. If she's crying for a prolonged amount of time, hand her to her parents. She more than likely wants her mom. And then let me see. There's a lot of rules. No kissing, no kids until Kalia gets her first vaccination. So that's like 6 to 8 weeks. Kids carry germs. They go to school. They touch things. They don't wash their hands. All of the things. I don't care how, you know, clean you think you and your household is, but kids go outside into different areas, into different things, and you're not 100% with them all the time. And so my baby cannot fight off certain germs that are not easily washed off. So definitely no kissing, first off, but no other kids around her for the first 6 to 8 weeks until she gets her vaccinations. And then those are some of the things that, you know, are protecting my peace. So yeah, if you need to figure out, you know, if you need to research what you want to put or what you need to put, or what you don't have an idea of what you want to put on your visitation list or plan or whatever to send out to people, look it up on Pinterest or Google. I found some of my ideas off of Pinterest, and then I just created my own visitation list that I'm going to send out because I love being creative. And then that's how that went. You know, no texting, no calling or FaceTiming to see the baby, because I will ignore people. I've been ignoring people my pregnancy when it comes to them just calling me out the blue, because I don't like talking on the phone, and nobody called me before I was pregnant. So I'm just like, I'm not going to talk on the phone while I'm pregnant or even after I give birth. Texting is going to be always preferred. There's just a lot of lists, you know, a lot of little nuances that I have on there. But yeah, these, and then I put on there, you know, these are our boundaries. If you don't like it, I suggest you stay home. But it's to keep, you know, mom and baby sane, especially mom, because I will kick y'all out and I will be mean, and I don't know how my emotions will be. I don't know how I will feel while I'm healing. And so I'm trying to do everything in my power to make sure before this even comes about, I'm setting certain things in place. And I did say some of these things are subject to change, but for right now, these are my boundaries to help keep me sane, and so that I don't curse y'all out or blow up, you know, out of just frustration or overstimulation. These are the boundaries that I have. So read them. But if you don't like them, I suggest you stay home. Okay. Because we are not going to be nice people when it comes to, you know, these boundaries once you get here. Because if you don't like them and you stay at home, cool. But if you come over here and you disrespect any of our boundaries, which that's what it is when you choose not to follow any of the rules that we have set in place, because I did talk to my husband about some of the things that he wanted on the list, and we agreed on some stuff. So cool. But if you come over here and you disrespect any of those boundaries, cross any of those lines, your further visitation for you is zip. It does not exist until we agree, he and I agree unanimously that we will allow you back over here. So yeah, those are just the things that I'm doing to protect my peace before these things even pop up, because I know these things can be super stressful, because you're trying to navigate being a parent, you know, and then you're trying to navigate being a family member. But then you're also trying to navigate how to set certain boundaries for your elders, for, you know, people older than you and your family, for them to respect, because I feel like some people have a sense of entitlement. And so they don't really care, you know, what kind of rules you'll have. But if you don't care, guess what? You don't love me. And so I feel like the people that actually love you and want to respect you and give you your peace, they will not have an issue with your boundaries. Okay. Yeah, but also research expecting parents classes. I did not know until my doula told me that my hospital provided free expecting parent classes. So we went over breastfeeding, and all of these were different courses: breastfeeding, understanding birth. What was the other one? We got one that's infant CPR, and then there's a fourth one, understanding birth, breastfeeding. I completely forgot what the fourth one is, but it should be somewhere in my calendar, honestly. Oh, newborn care. There we go. Newborn care, understanding birth, infant CPR, and breastfeeding. So all of those things, like, we've taken 3 out of the 4 classes at this point that I'm recording. They have been so helpful, and they give us these hand guides that I do plan on reading back up on, especially the breastfeeding one, because I want to know how to store it, and, you know, how I can heat it up on, like, if we're out, you know, warm it, cool it, all of those things. Because we didn't go in depth to that. We just went into the, like, the process of breastfeeding and everything like that, and the benefits and this, that, and the third. But yeah, research expecting parents classes. Hopefully your hospital offers it and offers it for free, because that would be amazing, especially if you're a first time mom, or if you're, about to be a mom of multiples and you didn't go through this with your first or second one and now this is your third one and you think this is something that could help you. Completely up to you, okay? Research different welcome boxes from suppliers. Now, when I say research this, is because not all welcome boxes are free. Some of them do require you to spend a certain amount, but it may not even be you specifically that they require it from. They may just require a certain amount of money to be spent on your registry. And so you can do this after your baby shower, after people buy off your registry, and then, redeem your welcome box after that. All of the things. I got one for Amazon, Kohl's, Target, Walmart. I think no, there were some other ones out there. I just can't remember all of them, but each one will have a different, criteria that you have to meet as far as them sending it out to you. I know Target didn't have a criteria. They just wanted you to pay, either shipping or tax. So I only paid like $6. And I think their welcome box was the best one out of all of the ones that I got, especially Amazon. I thought Amazon was going to be, but no, Target was number one for me. And then create a registry, even if no one uses it. I say this because at my baby shower, not everybody bought off the registry. And so I ended up with multiple things that I can't return, because since it wasn't bought off my registry and they didn't provide a receipt, I can't return it. So I'm stuck keeping some multiples. But I say this to say, put everything that you want for your child on the registry. Not what other people tell you that you'll want, not that what other people tell you that you need. If you can honestly sit here and say that you want or need this, put it on your registry. Because for me, I'm using it as a checklist, and then whatever people buy off of it, great. Whatever people don't buy off of it, I know what I want to go get for my baby and what I want to have for my baby and myself from that registry. And so now it's just a checklist for me. And now I'm not worried thinking about, okay, all these people bought all of this and I don't have anything that I think I need, and Calm down, ring it in. Create your registry list based on what you think is necessity for you, because they're going to have some postpartum stuff on there for you and some mom gifts. And then for, other people to buy. But if they don't buy it, is this something that you still want? Is this something that you still need? It's up to you. So I use it as a checkoff list. I'm almost done with it. And then start a budget for essentials. I have started to think about diapers, but I feel like I have so many diapers, so many wipes. Right now, I'm not like hell bent on like, oh my goodness, I need a, strategic and sound budget for this. I'm not thinking like that, but I will need to think like that. I need to look up the average price of diapers. I know on Amazon, if you get like one box of diapers and one box of wipes combined in like a bundle, it's like $70 something. That's a lot. So just thinking about how much babies will go through diapers, that can be something that can get expensive, especially if not a lot of people bought you diapers and wipes for the baby shower or just sent you diapers and wipes. So definitely think about that. Decide if you're going to breastfeed / pump, or if you are going to do formula. That is going to be another essential that you will need to budget for, because if you don't breastfeed, which I'm not trying to, promote breastfeeding or anything, but just thinking that if you don't breastfeed, you have to buy Similac, and Similac can be expensive. So if you're not breastfeeding, if you're not pumping and, feeding that way, bottle feeding that way, then you need to think about, okay, how much does Similac cost? How much will my baby go through in like a month or so? And how much do I need to, kind of rack up on? And are there different types? I don't know if there are different types, honestly. I think formula is formula, but there may be different types out there that will meet the needs of your baby, because not all babies are one Similac, one formula meets all. So there has to be different formulas out there. And with those different formulas may come a difference in price. So you definitely need to think about that and then budget for that as well. Have an outlet. When I say have an outlet, I mean have something that you can express your emotions and feelings into, right? Because as pregnant women, we think a lot internally. As women already, we think a lot internally. And so with pregnancy, our anxiety and our emotions, our overthinking can kind of just overpower us. And so we will be so stressed out and so overwhelmed just based on the mental warfare that is going on inside. And because we don't have somebody or something to express that to, we're holding it all within. And so we're so tensed up, and our baby is going to feel that. So you need to have an outlet to let all of that go and let all of it out, okay, in a healthy way. That way it doesn't put strain on you or the baby. Talk about your fears and anxiousness. Like I said, having an outlet. One night I was up until like midnight and I could not go to sleep because I was just thinking, just so anxious about the birth, about not hurting people's feelings when I get out of the hospital, visitation, all of the things like that. And being able to talk to my husband about my fears and my anxiousness really like helped me calm down, and then I was able to sleep. But if you're not having anybody to talk about that with, or write it down and come up with a plan, or find, a podcast or something or somebody to resonate on these things with and discuss some of these things with, you are going to explode, and your fears are going to determine your actions. And I don't want my fears to determine my actions. I want to understand my fears and figure out, okay, how do I mitigate this? How do I navigate through this fear so that this is no longer a fear? It's just something that I didn't have a plan in place for. And now that I do have a plan in place for it, I am no longer afraid. I have a plan. Plans can change. Please don't get me wrong. Plans can always change, no matter how thorough you think it is, it can change. But to help mitigate my fear, I have a plan in place to help me relax, to help me stay calm. So those plans, the visitation list that I have, the birth plan that I have, all of those things are mitigating my fear because I have a plan in place to help me when these things come. And so if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, perfectly fine. And then just continue to be yourself and do what makes you happy. Your baby can honestly feel everything that you feel. So if you are, super anxious all of the time, super fearful all of the time, shrinking yourself to make room for somebody else in the room, your baby is going to feel all of that. And I feel like at a certain point in time, there will be something that your child does that displays what you did during pregnancy. And there won't be a way to kind of reverse it unless you teach them to reverse it. Because if you stay like that, you're not going to know how to reverse it. And so when your child starts to display the same things, you cannot help them through that. And then they go through life experiencing this fear that they've never experienced for themselves, but they feel it deep down internally because it's something that you experienced and something that they felt while they were in your womb. Okay. But just continue to be yourself. Put yourself first, continue to take care of yourself, continue to go do self-care things. And I know some people say, oh, well, self-care doesn't mean going to spend money on getting your nails done and this done and this done. But if that makes you feel good and puts you in a relaxed state, to me, that is self-care. I don't care if you're spending money or not. What makes you feel better and what puts you in a better place when you're feeling down? Take care of yourself. All right. So that is some of the things that I am doing to help me prepare for birth. I'm still putting myself first. I'm still going to all of my appointments. I canceled my nail appointments only because I didn't want to schedule an appointment to get my baby shower nails just to get them taken right back off, save some money. Okay. That is also self-care. And then I don't want to scratch the baby when she gets here. So I want to learn how to handle her and, hold her and everything like that. And then when I do go back to nails, I'm getting like short French tips. Okay. There will not be the long, luxurious nails. No, thank you. I have no desire for that. Because if I get an inch, if I get a little bit of number 2 from my baby on my nails, I'm cutting it off. I'm cutting them off. They gotta go. Okay. But no, yeah. I've been a short nail girly for a little bit now, and I've kind of like played with the long and medium, but honestly, short just fits me, short square. So I just need a simple, just a simple one too. I don't need the whole shebang. So yeah. But yeah, I'll continue to go to my waxes. If I want my hair done, I go get my hair done. And yeah, so I feel like when you stop taking care of yourself, you stop, you know, I just feel like you just stop thinking about who you are as a person and what to do to make you happy. And so honestly, everybody is already going to be worried about the baby. So if everybody's going to be worried about the baby, I'm not saying you don't need to be worried about the baby, but you need to be a little selfish and worry about yourself as well. Because honestly, the state that you are in and the feelings that you feel towards yourself and all of the things, if you're not pouring into yourself, how can you pour into your baby? How can you pour into other people? So I always feel like self-care is always a thing. Putting yourself first is always a thing, because if you cannot put yourself first, everybody else gets the worst of you. So protecting my peace, putting myself first is going to make sure that my loved ones, my baby, gets the best of me instead of the worst of me, especially at work. I've heard this one saying that I'm, putting myself first and protecting my peace, especially at work, because if everybody at work gets the good parts of me and I'm overstimulated, I'm frustrated and all of that, when I get home, my family is getting the worst parts of me. I'm not saying that you have to, give work the worst parts of you, but if you're feeling overstimulated, overwhelmed, and overworked at work, maybe you need to take a step back. Maybe you need a career change, because I want to be able to come home and my child, doesn't know that mommy had a bad day at work. Okay. I want her to understand that we can all have bad days, but I don't want my emotions and, I don't want to be snapping at her because I had a bad day at work. I want her to experience me in a good mood, and I was able to compartmentalize. Work was work. Mommy is home with her daughter. And so I am in a good mood for my baby, and she's not going to get the worst parts of me that work created. So, do with all of that what you will, but hopefully this helped somebody, especially an expecting mom. If you're, a single expecting mom, if you're, by yourself, if, this is a journey that you don't have a lot of people on with you, hopefully this helped you, and hopefully you can resonate with something in this episode. But yeah, I just felt like this was going to be an important episode to kind of put out there, because not a lot of positive light is shown on pregnancy. And I want you to know you can have a positive pregnancy. There are positive pregnancies out here. There are not all horror stories and people that are out here to scare you. I am not one of those people, and I'm here to tell you that even if everybody is trying to tell you that, oh, well, my pregnancy was like this, that is not going to be your journey. Everybody's journey is different, okay? So keep your head on a swivel. Think about you. Block out any outside noise that you don't need to hear, that you feel like is just distraction and not something to help you move forward. Okay. And put yourself first, and you know what you need, and you know what your body needs, and you'll know what your baby needs. Okay. So I love you guys. I hope by this time I am just sitting here listening to my own episode with my baby in my hands. That is just so crazy to say. But yeah. And then maybe one time I'll put her on the podcast or something like that after, I get ready to podcast again after birth. But yeah, it's just so amazing to, think about. And if I do have to stop recording for a while, you guys will know why, obviously. So I love you all. I hope to see you in the next week's episode. And drop in the comments drop in the comment section or in my DMs or anything on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, what you want to hear about and talk about next. Okay. I'm going to continue to do topics that I think about and that I want to put out there, but I definitely want audience input, because you guys are listening to this, and so I want you guys to get an episode that you are wanting. So yeah, drop that in the comment section, drop it in my DM on Instagram at Theprettyconfidentpod, and let's talk and let's build a community and let's stay together and be positive. All right. So I love you all. See you in next week's episode. Have a great one and have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Pretty Confident Podcast. Remember, confidence isn't about perfection, it's about embracing who you truly are. So until next time, stay bold, stay authentic, and stay pretty confident. Peace out.